So your library is creating more short form videos, but you may be having a hard time getting other staff members to really want to be on camera and participate. This is a common issue for libraries, and I have some tips to help you get staff excited about being on camera by showing them the value of these videos. That's the topic of this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh from superlibrarymarketing.com. You can head on over there and click on the Library Marketing Show tab if you want to ask me a question that I can answer in a future episode. You can also send in a Kudos nomination, even if it's your own library. I love to hear what you're doing in marketing. Use that tab as well. As always, we're going to begin today's episode with Kudos, and our Kudos is a nomination from Mary Howard, who wanted to nominate her own library, Southern Pines Public Library. She wrote in and said, as last week's winter storm approached, 5 of our staff collaborated on a lighthearted weather spoof reel to promote our digital resources while bringing a bit of levity to the stress of the storm. While it wasn't our most viewed reel, it was a fun collaboration, and we had a nice uptick in engagement after it was posted. So that is really awesome. I'm going to put a link to this reel down below. It is pretty darn funny. There's some great acting going on between library staff, and some of them even participated from home. I think it's a great reel. Thanks for the nomination, Mary, and kudos to Southern Pines Public Library. And that kudos kind of flows right into today's topic, which is how to get your library staff to participate in your short form promotional videos. They sometimes may freeze up or have a meeting or just be like, I do not want to be on camera. That's not for me. I want you to understand that this isn't not a resistance thing with them. It is usually fear or uncertainty, or maybe they've had past bad experiences on camera. But I'm going to give you some tips to help work around that and get more staff involved in your videos. I think the first thing to remember is that your fellow staff needs some context before they commit to being on camera. We have to explain to them why we're using short form video and how it engages audiences. Tell them, that these videos will help patrons recognize them. So if somebody sees somebody in a video and then they walk into the library and that person is sitting in front of the desk, it's a comforting thing for the patron. This actually happened to me. There was a reel that the Cincinnati Library did that was very, very popular. I'll put a link to that down below. The gentleman in that reel, the staff member, a week after it was published, I drove up to one of our branch's drive-through windows, and he was my librarian handing me my holds. And it was just a really special moment and made me feel like I had a deeper connection to the library. Also, let your staff know that this kind of video really helps to emphasize the fact that there are humans working at the library. We are constantly fighting against AI and the idea that librarians aren't really needed anymore because we have Google. And these videos help to show that there is a value to use the library because real humans are there and can give personalized recommendations and help to patrons. Also, let them know it's okay to mess up on camera. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, imperfect videos do really well on social, as you probably know, because it shows the authenticity and humanness of the person on camera. You can also remove the pressure that the staff members might feel by giving them easy scripts to memorize, or maybe not even any script to memorize. Being really thoughtful about your planning of the video so that we don't take up too much of their time or their day shooting the video. And, don't force people to exude a type of personality that might not feel natural to them. I also recommend that you ask people and give them plenty of time to prepare. So I don't work in a library now, but maybe if you can plan out your social media calendar a month ahead of time and recruit your staff a month ahead of time, let them know when you're going to shoot it, how long it's going to take, and what exactly you're going to be asking them to do. If there is a prompt or a script that they need to say, giving it to them a month ahead of time and giving them plenty of time to think about it and get comfortable with the idea so they come prepared and they feel more confident. And after you post these videos, make sure you share with your staff members the successes so they can see what their work is leading to. And success will often mean that more staff members will want to get involved. So keep talking internally to your staff members about the short form videos and the folks who are appearing in them, and make it something that everybody wants to be involved in because it's fun and effective. Finally, my final tip is to remind your staff that you're not asking them to be a social media influencer. You're asking them to make a connection with patrons in another format. So just like they make connections every day physically in the branch, this is just another way to reach your patrons. It just happens to be digital, and that's what it's all about. Those are my tips, and I'm curious, for those of you who have recruited staff members to be part of your videos, what other tips do you want to share with other viewers? Let's get a conversation started down in the comments. And that's it for this episode of the Library Marketing Show, but my channel is full of other tips for library marketing. If you're interested in learning more, head to the next video and I will meet you there.